Good morning, Britain. Just 1 centimetre from paralysis. Simon Cowell's lucky escape after a fall nearly severed his spinal cord. We're live in Santa Monica with the latest.
Migrant channel crossings cannot go on, so says Britain's immigration minister, as he demands action from the French to stem the tide of refugees.
To stop me? We're going out.
Okay, whereabouts?
None of your business. Why do I need to tell you?
I'm just asking.
Oh, well, no, we're going out.
You're going out.
Labour MP Dawn Butler calls for Met Chief Cressida Dick's resignation after she was stopped by the police after being, she claims, racially profiled.
Education over the economy. Boris Johnson adamant all students will be back at school full-time next month.
And it's back. Only colder and wetter. We'll have all the news on I'm a Celebrity as it moves from the outback to the back of beyond in Wales.
After the heat and humidity of the weekend, it's set to continue. More temperatures into the 30s and thunderstorms, the risk as we head through the next few days, the risk of flooding. I'll have all the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Monday, 10th of August, 2020, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Kate Garraway and Adil Ray.
Good morning, Britain. It's 6 o'clock. Welcome to the show. You would never have gone to Wales, wouldn't you? You would not have done it if it was
Never
in
gone to Wales? I love Wales.
You would not
Wales
have done
would
it
have
if it
been
was,
lovely.
If that show was in
Talk
Wales.
about I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah, I'm a Celebrity. Would you have gone if it was Wales?
Definitely, I love Wales, but? I just think it's going to add an extra twist, isn't it?
Yeah.
The cold and the wet. I can
Yeah.
remember when I was in the jungle last year. I don't know if I've ever mentioned. Someone said I'm a Celebrity.
Back 10 seconds, everyone. I did cue it up.
I think one of the worst days was when there was a big rainstorm and everyone got cold and wet and all the bedding got wet. So it depends how they do it. We're going to chat to Richard Arnold, aren't we? He's got the facts as we know.
And we've got
so
Christopher
far.
Biggins, who won it, actually.
Christopher Biggins.
Yeah, he was a winner.
An absolute king of the jungle.
He won it.
All right.
I'm joking.
I've got enough trouble today. The hair straighteners are broken.
You
My
look
hair has
great.
got its own postcode.
Now, look,
it's so big. It's absolutely enormous. I normally beat it into submission on a Monday morning with the hair straighteners.
Do you get through it by using sat-nav, sort of?
Exactly. I know, but the hair straighteners are broken and there's nothing I can do. I'm so sorry. If you've got a big widescreen TV, you're fine. Otherwise, you're a bit in trouble this morning.
Don't do any more of that self-deprecating, please. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Listen, we haven't met since the news, Derek, and I just thought, how are things going? Is there a little update?
It's strange, isn't it, to see you this morning because so much has happened. Because funny enough, Adil, you texted me. I'd forgotten, and you remembered on the day that Derek got sick.
Yeah, so I texted you in the morning. I can't remember why. Just sort of going, just check in. How are you? All of this news is terrible. Are you guys coping? And at that point, it was quite early in the morning, and you said, yeah, no real symptoms, everyone's fine.
Seems to be fine.
Just worrying about the kids, how I'm going to deal with it.
That's right, because that was the main... Because Derek was doing all the home tutoring, because we were just going into lockdown, and then that was the evening where I said, you don't look right, and it sort of all began. I know. He's very much still with us. Yeah. There seems to be different challenges every week. I feel conscious of not telling... I know everybody's been so lovely and is really concerned for him. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because there's so many people out there with people who are sick that you don't want to talk about it on Good Morning Britain all the time because then it's like not cheering up everybody that's trying to cope with COVID. Yeah. But on the other hand, last week when we were having fun and games, you feel almost bad because you think, oh, I'm laughing and he's still there, in a kind of minimally conscious state. And it's a difficult balance. It was a worrying week last week. He's still got lots of challenges with absorbing food, challenges with everything, with lungs, with everything. Yeah. And we just want him to wake up. Yeah. The nurses are putting this show on in the morning for him. In the hope that might trigger something, but it's a waiting game, really. But at least I'm lucky that I've got the chance to wait. because he's still with us.
Yeah.
And lots of people haven't got that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Kate, as you've been said many times, you're truly inspiring at a time like this. You really are. And I know you're saying you feel... I think lots of families will be taking a lot of strength from you. And not people who've been suffering from coronavirus, people who've suffered in all kinds of grief and issues. And I think it's inspiring. And I think, you know, you say there about you were laughing last week and we'll have a few laughs today, but it's important at a time like this, isn't it?
It is important to
You
laugh.
can't be just one way, can you, at the moment like this?
No.
You have to have... I mean, you've got kids and you've got to have hope and you've got to get on with things.
I think my point is I've got to keep a life going so that Derek's got a life to come back to.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's smiling
And
and
Derek...
laughing. And we all need it as well because, as you say, people have lost people not just from COVID but for all sorts of things during this crisis. And also mental health, and people worried about their livelihoods, and we do have to keep laughing through it.
And Derek will want you to as well, won't he?
He definitely will want me to laugh,
Listen, we'll talk more about the very latest on COVID a bit later. Dr. Sarah Jarvis will be here and we'll be talking about I'm a Celebrity. I'm sure a few times that will get him.
I think we should talk about it. I think we need something to look forward to, don't we? Watching other people in misery is always a good thing about the jungle. It's what makes us smile. Our main news this morning, though, is absolutely dramatic news for Simon Cowell. Doctors in California say that he's actually lucky not to be paralysed after breaking his back in several places when he fell from a new electric bike.
Yeah, it's emerged that he missed damaging his spinal cord by just 1 centimetre. He is now recovering in hospital in Santa Monica after 6 hours of surgery. Ross King is there. Ross, obviously it was a terrible injury, but could it have been so much worse?
So much worse, yes. A source close to Simon has told GMB, indeed, he was very lucky. If it had been just that centimetre the other way, it could well have been a severed spinal cord. Unbelievable. It happened Saturday afternoon, and it happened at Simon's Malibu home. It's a home that quite a lot of the viewers will have seen on shows like X Factor and Britain's Got Talent. He's got a massive forecourt right at the front of the house, and that's where the accident took place. He has been in surgery for 6 hours. The official line from Simon's camp has said he's broken his back in a number of places. They then went on to say he was taken to hospital where they operated overnight. That was Saturday night, under observation, and is doing fine. Now, hopefully he is doing fine. In fact, we've had a tweet from Simon as well that seems to show that he is in fairly good spirits. He says, some good advice: if you buy an electric trail bike, read the manual before you ride it for the first time. I have broken part of my back. Thank you to everyone for your kind messages, and also a massive thank you to all the nurses and doctors, some of the nicest people I have ever met. Stay safe, everyone. Simon. And of course, friends and colleagues all chipping in as well on social media. Amanda Holden saying, I've been thinking about my dear friend all day, and luckily I'm able to say with blessing that he's had his operation and he's doing really well. Sending lots of love and a speedy recovery too. And also his fellow judges on America's Got Talent. The shows were meant to go live this week starting on Tuesday. Obviously that's not going to happen for him. The judges will be there, and people like Heidi Klum and also Sofia Vergara from Modern Family, and they tweeted out a photograph of that empty chair saying, we're missing our boss. And interestingly enough, some of the facts coming out here about those electric bikes, during COVID, they're saying that the sales of them have now gone up by 100%. So there's certainly going to be a lot of accidents happening, but this has just been one of the worst ones ever.
Poor Simon Cowell, it's absolutely miserable. In fact, you can't get an electric bike for love nor money around the highway. People are desperate to get on. Dr. Sarah Jarvis is with us this morning. It could have been even worse, couldn't it? But it may still be a challenge for him, not just in the short-term recovery, but long-term.
Absolutely. Of course, we all remember Christopher Reeve, who broke his spine. I think there was a fall from a horse, and of course he was paralysed from the neck down because he broke his spine at a higher level. Basically, all the nerves that supply all the rest of your body between your brain and your legs and your arms, and of course your breathing, go through your spine. So depending where you fracture your spine, if you sever your spinal cord at that stage, then basically that's it. It's very, very difficult. There are all sorts of theories about how you can regrow the nerves, but it is a very, very long process, and really the recovery is very, very slow, even if you partially sever the nerve. So it could have been much worse.
And even with Simon's condition now, will he expect to make a full recovery, do you think?
Obviously, we don't know all the details, but if he didn't sever the spinal nerve, then he's got a lot of recovery to go through. You've broken bones anyway, and getting back, when you break one bone, if you break your leg, you put it into a plaster cast for a few weeks, or you have surgery so the bones can knit together. He's had some of his bones fused. That'll take some time for the fusing to happen, but after that it's going to be a long road to recovery. He's going to have to get that strength